Today I am doing an interview style video with Melissa Delfino. I don't know if it's Delfino or Delfano. We will find out. And we're going to be talking about a very great topic, something that lots of practices struggle with. I see it happening over and over again. And the more we can spread the word, the more we can help. So, we're going to talk about how patient communication at the front desk can make or break your practice's growth. The way your staff answers the phone basically sets the tone for everything that follows next. So that's what we're talking about. Again, consider this my intro. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do.
So I started out in healthcare. Like I am still in healthcare. I'm an active practice manager, but I started out in a call center where I really just like only focused on phones. And what I found is, the other people that worked with me, some of them were great with making appointments and talking to patients, but there is a lot of uncertainty in their role. So when we talk about conversions and things like that, we're also tracked as an employees like for those things. So what I do as Modern Distinction, we have launched a consulting company, and we are currently building a platform where we have staff etiquette training, even for clinical staff as well, and practice managers. But I've been in dermatology, both medical and aesthetic dermatology, for about 12 years now. And yeah, just helping business owners take that step away so that they have the resources to train their staff, but still give their patients the time and attention that they deserve.
It's so important. I feel like it's, overlooked a lot of the times. And people today just don't realize how important the front desk staff is to the business. They're the gatekeepers. And, we have to not only respect them, but we just have to give them credit where it's due because they do a lot. I was that person, so I definitely know, right? I do want to ask you one question because you said you worked with the medical side of dermatology and the medical aesthetic side of dermatology. Do you notice any difference with the mindset of those providers? One who is all in, cash pay only, or maybe they only take in a little bit of insurance clients versus the one that is still heavy on insurance and they're maybe sliding in a little bit of cash pay clients. Do you notice a difference in these providers?
It's still a hustler mentality, like you want to get them in. And I will say, I think there's more of a hustler mentality with the medical patients only because of all of the restrictions that insurances have, like there's a lot of times where patients want to talk about three medical issues, but to be real with you, insurance will only cover like one or two. And sometimes there's, excluded benefits where, let's talk about hair loss for a second. Like hair loss is not always covered by insurance, and
Mm-hmm.
it is like a huge issue that a lot of women deal with, especially like postpartum. And it's so common
After
when you
COVID, after
after
COVID.
COVID, having anesthesia, what I'm saying? Like these everyday things that occur that can cause hair loss. And then doctors are seeing patients and potentially not getting paid on it. So, there, I would say more of a hustler's mentality when it comes to seeing medical patients. Like, how do we get them in? How do we get them in? And then you would think, the quality of service kind of diminishes when you're seeing a medical patient, unfortunately.
Honestly, as a medical and growth partner myself, I personally know that no amount of ads or social media posts or funnels or anything like that you can do can fix a struggle in practice. I just feel like it definitely starts with the basics, and that's kind of what we want to, highlight today. And the base, you may say that the first interaction is the phone call. I say that the first interaction is what they see online. That's what the first interaction is. Yes. And then, the phone call will basically make or break if they want to take it to the next step, right?
Actually, that's a great point because even if they, if a patient sees your website and they have to do too many clicks just to like get an answer that they want or a contact form, you're losing that person
Oh yeah.
immediately.
And I see it happen all the time. to start with links in the bio. I always tell, clients when we onboard them, you have way too many links in your bio. And that's probably what's driving people away. Analysis paralysis. They see all
Yes.
those links. Now they don't know what to choose, So things like that, they matter, when it comes to the client journey and making sure that they can actually get to whether you have a system set up where you can book an appointment or
Right.
where you just submit your information and you get a call back from the office team. Either way, the process should be seamless. And because we monitor clicks and activity on the back end of the website, we see people drop off instantly, or
Yeah.
they don't even, or maybe they don't even make it to the page where they can book an appointment because they've been bombarded by some horrible graphic or
Right.
something like that. So yeah, it all ties in together. It all
It
ties in
does.
together. I know that we're living in different times right now. People are a little bit on edge. I guess that's a nice way to say it. And they may be frustrated or super anxious or just already in a mood before they call the office. So, what are some first steps that the staff in an office can take to make sure they leave a positive first impression with that client who's already disgruntled and they don't lose that call? Because I know in marketing, like we work so hard to make that damn phone ring, right? So what are some things that can happen so that they can actually close the patient and not lose the patient?
Yeah. So one of the first things I tell staff are you need to smile through the phone. Like pick
Yes.
up that phone and have a smile on your face. You could be in the worst mood of the day, but smiling makes the biggest difference. And when you keep that smile on, it really like helps the conversation flow because patients hear it. And additionally, like it's kind of like dealing with I'm a mom. I'm a relatively new. I have a 3-year-old, so we're in teenager stage. But
Okay.
like when they're like throwing a tantrum, you want to acknowledge the frustration, right? Like let's say they said, "Listen, I called before. Like I can't get through to anyone. I totally understand you're frustrated. I'm sorry. Let's be solution oriented now, right?" So it's like 3 steps, right? You pick up with a smile, greet your patient, and then name the feeling, acknowledge that they're upset and frustrated, and then let's be solution oriented. How can I help you? I would love to provide you with, an appointment with said provider that you'd like to book with. So it's like really those like 3 things that are the bread and butter of dealing with a disgruntled patient. And to be honest, that is really what's going to one, rectify the situation, but even convert. You're getting a patient from one place to another. And majority of the time, even if a patient is calling upset, sometimes they'll apologize. I'm so sorry that I like yelled at you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten that. So it's really important to train the staff. It's not personal. Let them know that it has nothing to do with you, because a lot of the times they are upset that the patient is yelling at them. But if you kill them with kindness and acknowledge their feelings and give them a solution, take control of that call and give them a solution and just point them in the right direction, you're going to have a happy patient.
How you feed into their energy will determine the rest of the phone call. And you said two wise tales. That very first one, smile on the call, right? So I used to work for a plastic surgeon's office, and they made us, okay, put mirrors on our desk. So every time we're on the phone with the patient, we're smile in the mirror. You can see it, literally see yourself smiling. It makes such of a difference. For me, I'm a naturally nice person. I'm a naturally sociable person. So I didn't really need to do that. But for those women who would come into the office and I would train and they just really didn't have the skill set, that was what I would suggest they do. So I love that. And then the second one that you said, kill them with kindness. That is, a lot of people don't like that, but it's still so true to this day because they're already frustrated and they just have a lot going on. Nothing that we did, we didn't do anything. We don't even know you. This is your first time calling. But just a simple, nice, well, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I know it must be frustrating to have to, blah, 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 blah. But here's what I can do. And you don't really see a lot of staff give that kind of effort today. Maybe that might be another video right there. But
It definitely
you
is like an old school thing, because like even some of the younger, and I'm not trying to be ageist, but some of the younger girls, like they're very like stiff face,
mhm.
and sometimes they're even quick to just be like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Oh
no, like
yeah.
let's find out the answer so that we help the patient. Because the second you show uncertainty or you say, I don't know, you're
It's
going to get that
dismissive.
patient, but it's dismissive. You're going to get that patient even more upset, you know? So let me look into that for you. Like there's ways to say I don't know without saying it and then still be solution oriented. Like I wasn't the person that gave you a call. Let me look into that for you and let me give you a call back by this time, right? So you kind of want to just manage the expectation that you are going to get them an answer at whatever time you say.
In this situation, it is perfectly okay to not mix fire with fire, right? Can you share a couple of, well, I think you kind of already told us, but tell us more about the online platform that you are building out with Modern Distinction, and how will that provide staff with the tools and the fundamentals that they need to be successful in the workplace? You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So what we're building is it's interactive training through online modules. So we actually, I was just on a call with my web guy and we did basically it's phone etiquette training, and there's like an interactive portion where patients upset they didn't receive their test results, and like how would you respond, and then there's like a multiple choice, right? So everyone gets, whether it's front desk or clinical, you get these online modules that are interactive. There are quizzes at the end, and you get a certificate of completion. So
Oh, wow. Okay. I
it
like
kind of
that.
like allows the manager to ensure that they did actually get their training, they were able to complete it, so now we're able to measure the success of the training, and then you put it into action. And I believe that it should be done like at least every 6 months. I mean, it should be part of someone's onboarding. So within their first 90 days, they should be completing that part. But also having touch base with the staff and kind of having those conversations and teaching management to like lead in that way where you're interested in their experience. So for the practice I work for, I actually have a I got my master's in psych, and I said, you know what? I'm not a therapist, but we're going to make it happen here. So I give it, I give my staff the attention and say, come sit in my office. And even if we talk for 10 minutes, I want to know about like, what was the hardest part of your day? Did you have a difficult patient? How did you navigate it? And then we kind of like feed off each other, and what pointers can I give you, or what
Mhm.
can we do to prevent this next time?
And I definitely think that means a lot. Just putting myself back in the typical 9 to 5 mindset. I would love to have, a manager that asks me, what's the highs and lows of my day, or what do I think could have went better, and things like that. So I think that's a very good way to show your staff that, hey, I do care. I want you guys to succeed. I want you to do better. I want to invest in you so you can do better. So that's great. That's great. Can you share your findings on how investing in front desk and phone etiquette training directly impact patient retention, patient reputation, and ultimately like revenue growth? Because here's the thing. I feel like so many practices always miss this. They'll spend thousands of dollars on ads, but if the phone calls are not handled properly, I mean, that money is literally going down the drain.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like if the front desk is trained on, I mean, it's really not just making appointments. You know what I mean? Like they need to have a pretty in-depth knowledge of what is offered so that they can kind of take control of a conversation and lead the patient in the appropriate direction. And when a patient feels cared for in that first interaction, that's so important. So once you get them through the door, now what happens? Now it's the provider and the clinical team's job to ensure that that's being followed through, but you also want to retain that patient and say, I want to see you in 3 weeks for your follow up. And if you liked your service today, can you please leave us a review? And then touch base again. Like there needs to be multiple touch points. Like even if patients are having procedures, right? Call them the next day. Have someone like sit aside. Like I know it's busy in the day to day, but like how do we like designate? And I try to do this where get I have like two people that I kind of like rotate to do that. Let's review the schedule and see like who had a procedure. Call them the next day. How are you feeling?
Mhm.
Everything went well? Did you have any questions? We're available, you know? So like just showing that you actually have that like layer of care is so important and you will get them back. And a lot of times that converts to like a word of mouth referral. And those are like your biggest referrals in my
It's the gift that keeps on giving. And I always tell my clients too to ask for that Google review in the moment while they're in the office. Like, yeah, we can always follow up via text message or an email, but get them while they're already happy. If they are already happy, have QR codes. We'll, have them blast QR codes throughout the office where all the client has to do is just go up to it and scan it and boom, leave a Google review. One of my best kept secrets, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I only tell my paying clients this, so y'all better be lucky. We we have them put QR codes in every bathroom on the back door, and all it says is ask how you can save $5 on your next treatment. And every office is different. Some will do $5, some will do 25. Some will even say ask how you can receive a free skincare product at your next treatment, right? And then most of them will go to the front desk and they'll ask, or some will have it set up to where all they do is just scan the QR code and it goes to their website telling them what they need to do, leave a review. But doing those in the moment, they really make a whole lot heck of a difference. People just do not understand.
and it keeps it top of mind to the patient
Yes.
because once they leave, like they can say, "Oh, what a beautiful office! Oh, I had a great time, whatever." But then they go on about their day, and like as nice as it was for them, they're not willing to always do it. So if you ask them um, right then and there, that's really going to be the saving grace. Do you offer any sort of like platform that does that?
Are you talking about doing the Google reviews? Oh yeah, so we set it up on the back end of the website, right? So basically the automation will go out after the appointment because again, we want it done in the office, but that would be in a perfect world, Melissa. It doesn't always work like that. But we do set up systems in the background. So after the client checks out for the appointment, every client is different. I don't have like a templatized system that we implement for each account. So some maybe about 2 hours later, some about 20 minutes later, and the message will go out. They'll leave a Google review. Well, they'll just leave a review. They don't even know they're really leaving it on Google. And then it automatically goes to the website and then automatically goes to Google. So when we implement that, we always see an increase of Google reviews. Because it's right after they leave the appointment, right? Everybody is getting it. And then we also have it to where if we notice a couple of days they don't open that message or they don't open that email, then the system is going to send it again. But we're
Right,
going to get that. We're going to get that review come hella hot water.
right, right.
What are three things, in your opinion, that would make practices stand out today when it comes to the client journey from, you know, discovering them online, booking that initial appointment, coming into the office for the appointment? Within those realm of things, what do you think are some very small things that are overlooked, but they can contribute to the success or to the growth or just contribute to enhancing the client's overall experience?
I think even if you keep it as minimal as something like a scent that you have in the office. So one of the practices I work for, we use a beautiful scent through the HVAC, and people come in and they're like, "That smells amazing. I feel like I recognize that smell," and it already like enhances the vibe of what they're what they're coming in for. So like even for our medical patients, cosmetic patients, having something like that enhances their experience. And then too, like even having something like a greeting, like something that's so intentional, but minimal, right? So if you have your staff have the same greeting when they're picking up the phone or like taking in a patient in a room, they're like, that's actually really nice, to
Hmm.
feel welcome like that. And then additionally, like a parting, like what do we do when they leave? And that's where like that follow up and retention comes in. A lot of offices are so busy, so I feel like that gets.
Does. And a lot of them are more focused on new client acquisition. They forget all about, trying to retain the client, trying to make sure we get the ones that we already have back in the door, and we're, making them happy and satisfied, because just as you said earlier, a referral is your greatest asset. So if you're making the clients that you already have happy, of course they're going to go out and tell other people. That's just how we are, human nature. So great. Those are great. I love all of those tips, because I feel like it's the small things that are constantly overlooked. There and the small things. And here's the thing: we are living in times right now where most people are just rude. I'm just going to be honest. Most people are just rude, and like I said, they're on edge, and they're just not happy people. So the slightest thing that you can do, like you said, the scent, maybe having some sort of coffee in the office, maybe, giving out freshly baked cookies in the morning. We have a dentist, and I know this is so crazy because it's a freaking dentist. One of the, I think she's a hygienist. Somebody likes bacon. So, I mean, they literally started baking cookies. I don't know if she's really baking them in the morning, but that's neither here nor there. She puts them out in the front, wraps them up, put the dentist logo and little ribbon and all. And I mean, it's something so simple. It's very simple. And do you know how many clients mention things about those cookies when we look at all the data, we look at the feedback and the reviews and everything, and they talk about that stuff, and they actually they look forward to coming to the dentist to have cookies. Making sure you have, let's say Netflix. I talked about this the other day. You have a Netflix TV movie on, or you have weighted blankets in the treatment rooms. All those types of things, they matter so much, and it's just overlooked because most people are extremely busy.
I think another thing too is, you don't want to implement too many things at once, and you're going to complicate things and kind of overwhelm your staff, because then they're not sure, like, okay, so am I giving them the coffee or am I giving them this, right? So it's like, keep it
Yes.
intentional and keep it simple. This way it's like just set in stone, and they're able to deliver it. So simple, keep it simple.
Keep it
I
simple.
always
I
say
always
that.
say simplicity sells, complexity fails every single time. I remember when, because I really started off as a content creator first, a content creator that turned into a business owner. And when I first started, publishing content online, I mean, I would take hours editing videos and doing all these special effects and all this and all that. And then once I realized that it's the simple stuff that people watch. I mean, some people like the flashy and the jump edits and all that type of stuff, but for the most part, most people just want to keep it simple. They want digestible information, So, but anyways, I think this was great. I think this was a lot of useful information. If you want to let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, Modern Distinction Consulting, and you can also find me on my website, moderndistinction.com. And I'm open to offering like a 15-minute strategy session to any of the listeners today. Feel free.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We know your time is valuable, so you guys definitely take advantage of that. Go and follow Melissa and see all the greatness that she has to offer. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I will be posting this on the YouTube. And if you have any questions or comments, concerns, you want to ask Melissa anything, or you want to ask myself, y'all know where to find me. Drop everything in the comments. But again, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. This
Thank
was
you for
great.
having me.
And
Yeah,
I
I
look
definitely
forward.
want to do more for sure.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. I look forward to doing more.